now, Talk Real Estate with Sharon McNamara, sponsored by Boston Connect Real Estate Services.
Hi, I'm your host, Sharon McNamara, and you are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. Let me share a little bit about my background before we get started. I am the broker-owner of Boston Connect Real Estate, a boutique firm that is home to over 30 real estate sales and marketing agents who service home buyers and home sellers throughout Boston, the South Shore, the South Coast, and Cape Cod. Our firm takes pride in assisting our clients in the next chapter of their lives by taking a holistic approach to their real estate endeavors. We believe that every move should be a moving experience. Every week, my co-host Melissa Wallace and I will provide you with my team's unique marketing approach to selling homes and share with you our expertise in navigating the home buying process. We value the experience of our agents at Boston Connect Real Estate so much that not only will you hear my perspective on real estate topics, occasionally you will hear the expert thoughts and opinions of our experienced agents at Boston Connect Real Estate. Be a part of our roundtable. If you have any questions during the show, please call 781-837-4900. We love to talk real estate. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and wherever you like to listen to podcasts at Talk Real Estate Roundtable. If you would like a one-on-one consultation with me and my team to discuss your real estate needs, you can connect with me at bostonconnect.com or 781-826-8000. Now, sit back, relax, take good notes, and let's talk real estate. Sharon McNamara, you are, of course, listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. Oh, sorry, I got a frog in my throat. I don't even know where that came from. I'm not here with Melissa Wallace this morning. She is actually not here with me today, but she will be back next week, I'm sure. And I have a couple sort of newbies, I guess, here with me. So I have a guest with me, but also before I introduce him, I have Paul in the studio who is filling in this morning. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning. How you doing today?
I am doing fantastic. So how's everything going? Like without, I know you're in there training and all that other stuff. All is good, right?
Besides that, it's good. My classes at Massasoit Community College are going fantastic. I'm so grateful to be able to spend my weekend here at WATD. I'm looking forward to hearing your show today.
That's awesome. Yeah, so you did a good job on all the news and everything, but just want to let you know we say Woburn. Like, are you from here? Like Woburn.
I'll keep that in mind. Thanks for educating me.
That's funny. So to all our listeners, Paul will be in studio today. Tim is not in today. So if you know the drill here. If you have any questions for me regarding real estate, of course, you can reach out to Paul, 781-837-4900. He will connect you to my home studio here at Boston Connect Real Estate. We're located right in Pembroke Center. And that number again is 781-837-4900. And the other thing is you can also text to that number. So, and then I have another guest and I want him to know that he has to get right up into that microphone so everyone can hear him. I'm not going to let him be shy. So I have Mike Parks with me this morning. Hi, Mike.
Good morning. How are you?
I am so happy to have you. I've been asking, and you've been so busy that you're like, yeah, I'll just push her aside in her little radio show, right?
No, I didn't mean to.
I know.
Been trying to get on.
I know. So Mike Parks, I know him very, very well. I've known him since basically he was born, and I'm so excited to have him here today, and I just want to help him expand on his new business, which is just so exciting. I've hired you a couple times now already. I know that Mary and Sam Horton have also used you for your services, right? So the name of his company, just so you know, write this down. So it's Mike Parks from Mighty Mike's Gutters and More, and it's such an important topic. We talk about like spring cleanup and things like that all the time and the importance of it. So we're going to get into that as we go on to the show. So again, to our listeners and to all my Facebook people and, Instagram, hello. If you have any questions, feel free. I'll do my best to try to follow along. But 781-837-4900. So Mike, tell me a little bit about you and this venture of yours.
Well, I grew up in Pembroke. I've been here for 29 years, and I've been doing gutters now for probably about 7 to 8-ish years. Not exact on the date, but I started doing that about 2017. Did it in and out for a little while, went back to school for a little bit, then came home and decided I should just try it on my own. And about a year little over a year, but a year and 8 months now doing it. So it's not too bad. It's just I'm learning every day, something new. It's a 24-hour-a-day thing.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, self-employed. So this is one of the things that I love about having you on today too, Mike, is that, and just so everyone knows, I have a hard time calling him Mike because in my head, he's Michael. So when I call him Mike and I'm looking at like this grown man, like, I think I might be getting emotional right now. Like, I love you. And like when you were buying your house and everything, and I was there to support and rally you. And I was just so, so proud of you. And my listeners know I don't bring anybody onto my show and invite them to my roundtable here unless I have 100% confidence in that person and what they're doing and their abilities. So that's how I feel about you. You know that, right? He's getting emotional now too. No, he isn't. But so I know that you've been doing this a long time, but the thing that I love is, this entrepreneurship. And one of the things is, like you said, you did go back to school. You went that route. Guess what? That isn't everything. Even though, hey, Paul, hey, it's great. I love it that you're at Massasoit. Actually, one of my clients works there as well.
I won't take it personally.
Yeah. But there is a route for everybody, right? And I think one of the things that's really important is having people who can work with their hands, can get down and dirty and do the things that we need to have done, like around our house all the time.
Yeah. I mean, college isn't for everyone. And again, I think the trades are great for kids my age and younger kids coming up. It's provides a good life, gives you a good background and a good, moral stand ground, I guess. Kind of teaches you things and kind of teaches you hard work and how to show up and kind of gives you, like I said, it humbles you to see what it takes to do certain things every day. Like I like to see the landscapers out there and roofers and stuff, and it's hard work. And sometimes I would like to be in an air conditioned office, but having the freedom to be outside and stuff like that on the nice days is really nice. But we do need the people who go to college and end up in finance and whatever, blah blah blah. So
and those are the people who take care of our books, right?
Exactly.
I have my accountant. I had my call this week, and to file my extensions and everything I need to do. And then obviously we need people like Paul who are going to school to learn the equipment and all of that stuff. So but again, the trades. So my nephew Christopher is actually a senior at Pembroke High School, and he made the big decision that he doesn't want to go to college. He's not following in the footsteps. His brother is at Assumption and playing football, and life is great and doing his thing, and he wants to be a police officer like after the fact. And but Christopher doesn't want to, so he is going to be working with Mark and going to plumbing school. So
yeah, that's huge, especially in the plumbing industry. The average age, I believe, is somewhere in like 40s to 50s. So
50s, I think. Yeah,
there's no young guys in that industry anymore.
Yeah,
and it's tough. Especially, people are getting older, so
like Mark, you can say it.
we need younger guys in the trade industry, whether it's gutters, plumbing, doing pools, roofing, any form of construction, electricians.
Yep. All the things to build a house, right? Yeah. So, that's what we really need. So I think it's great. You have this entrepreneurial mindset. I love the fact that, you went back to school, you tried it. And like, to me, it takes more courage to say, this isn't my lane and I want to do something different. Mm-hmm. So congratulations on, doing that. And the entrepreneurial road is has its risk and reward is what you're going to learn, right?
Yeah, pros and cons, ups and downs.
Yeah. And, there are times where you're so busy and that stress is will kill you. But I always say to people, hey, the stress of being too busy is much better than the stress of having no business at all.
Yeah, absolutely. I get that. I understand that. And that was something I needed to learn. At first, it was a struggle when I was used to 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, every day, had a paycheck, and then going from I got a couple calls a week, I got some work here and there, and I was like, oh God, this is
scary.
Is different. Yeah, it is frightening because obviously there's bills to be paid and.
But makes you work harder towards that when you have the bills.
And it's more rewarding as well in a way. Going to work and getting a paycheck is still rewarding. Yeah. But in a way, when you're doing it for yourself and you're putting the work in every aspect of like, you know, the office side of things and the actual labor side of things, you kind of, it is rewarding.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable. It becomes enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that I love too is, you know, going out on your own it's a really big step, but you know, you had your job, you were mentored through that process, you know what I mean, as a job, learning the skill and everything. And I love that, you know, that next step in doing something great is going out on your own and, you know, being able to be that person that's like, yep, I'm going to jump off and I'm going to open my own company and understand the risks that go along with that. And you were able to do it. So congratulations on all that. Again, if you're just tuning in, I'm Sharon McNamara. I'm the broker owner of Boston Connect Real Estate. I am here solo today. Melissa is off today. However, she will be back next week. And we have Paul in studio. If you have any real estate questions, 781-837-4900. He can pipe you right through to me, or you can text him. I also have my friends and everybody on Facebook and the like. So if you have any questions, feel free to put those in. I will try my best to follow along with those. And we're going to get into it. So again, today I have Mike Parks here from Mighty Mike's Gutters and More, and we are talking about sort of some springtime, you know, maintenance tips and things like that. And we're going to concentrate on the gutters because that's who you are, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I don't want to make that my whole personality, but that's what I'm known for is the gutters.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially around Pembroke.
Yeah. So, and that's the other thing too. So, where are the areas that you service? Because you grew up in Pembroke, but you certainly go everywhere, right?
Yeah. So I try and stay within the South Shore. I don't want to go past Boston just because of the time it takes. It's if I have to do a job, say like in Somerville or something like that, that's going to be like more than half a day thing, depending on what time I get. So I try and stay within the South Shore. I don't go over the bridge really for the Cape, so I try and stay within the bridge to Boston. Yeah. And there's plenty of work within that.
South
area,
Shore, South Coast, right? Yep. So all the Bridgewaters and all those surrounding areas. Exactly. So tell me, and we talk about one of the things I love about, you know, bringing this into the real estate aspect of things is when people are thinking about, you know, selling their home, I always say even if you're thinking about doing it in 5 years, I think everyday maintenance is really, really important on your home. And the gutters, I mean, you were doing some stuff for me here and you noticed a couple of things and we will get into that as well. So tell me about, you know, why having clean, properly functioning gutters is so critical to maintaining the integrity of your home.
So like everyone, like, you have your car, you maintain your car, you clean your car, you take it to the shop, you get it tuned up, you get, you know, the stickers, the wheel rotations, all that kind of stuff, oil change. Same thing, like, you know, take care of your lawn, you seed your lawn, you aerate your lawn. With the gutters, especially if they're dirty, clogged, you know, you don't want to get water going anywhere other than into your yard and away from your home. Especially, so say you have a clog and your gutters are overflowing, you're going to get splashback of mulch on your home, stuff like that. The dirt that's in the gutters is going to be thrown all over the home as well. So it's just aesthetic things like that. But then there's things like whereas it's going to leak into the foundation and cause water problems. If your foundation has cracks in it, and it's depending on the pitch of the gutter, the pitch of your yard, stuff like that.
Well, one thing too is with that, sorry to interrupt you too, is with the gutters in the water and getting it away from the home. One of the things is, definitely you don't want water in your house. And generally speaking with water, you can't fight the battle, right? Water always wins. Yeah,
so water's going to go where it wants. It's going to take the path of least resistance. So if you have any, you know, damaged shingles or anything like that, it's going to go right through that, right into your roof and find the path of least resistance, like I said, and it's going to sit where it wants, and then you're going to know that you're going to look up and see a big brown spot in your ceiling in your bathroom or your living room, wherever, and you'll be like, where the heck is that coming from? And then it could be from a pipe, or it could even be just from a leaky seal in your window or from your gutters. You never know, and I see that all the time, whereas I will be installing new gutters, and I'll take a gutter off, and the whole fascia board behind it is completely rotted, and then it's rotting into their roof and leaking into their ceiling, and it's ruining and they're like, oh, that's why I have a brown spot in my bathroom. That makes sense now.
Yeah, and not only that, it can cause, I mean, once you get water in there, now you have bigger problems with mold and things like that, right? So if you see an issue like that, do you have the resources to also like change out that fascia board?
So yeah, so when I do an install, I'll always make a note. I'm saying when I take those down, I'm not 100% positive what the fascia board is. I'll always check it when I'm doing the quote prior to the install. I'll say it looks like it's going to be rotted, so I'll say by charge per foot for the fascia, so I am able to replace it, but I won't replace the whole thing if it's not needed, but I will replace sections, but it all depends on what the customer wants. If they have a 4-foot section of rot and they just want to replace that 4-foot section, I'll just replace that 4-foot section, but it looks better when you replace the whole thing. But,
yeah. And that's the thing too. What's so important about things like this, and we talk about it in everything that I talk about when it comes to like mold and things like that. It's one thing getting rid of it. So like in this situation, it's like, all right, I'm fixing the gutter, but you have to fix and repair what's behind it, right? So when you're fixing, so maybe it even starts with, oh, I see this brown spot, and now you get somebody out there and they're like, oh, it's all rotted. You have to replace that rot, but making sure that the gutter is properly installed and functioning is going to relieve that problem in the future.
Yes, I mean, like you don't even have to go outside really to notice you're having water issues, like I said, because you're going to see the spot in the wall, the ceiling, stuff like that. So you may notice it, but the big thing would be to check outside, and you'll notice when you go outside. Just take a look at your side of your house, and if you have any mulch splashback or you're noticing water runoff, you'll know that you're having issues with your gutters, and it's pretty easy to tell. But
is that one of the things, like if you're even just like going to someone's house for a party or something, you're like, they get some problems up there?
Yeah, I actually, it's kind of bad. I do it everywhere I go. Like I'll be driving around on the weekends with my girlfriend or something like that, and I'm like, oh, I've cleaned that house's gutters, or I've done that. And I'm like, oh, that's not how it should be, and like even when I'm like walking through Derby Street or something like that, they have like stuff like I'll be looking at the downspouts. It's bad.
You can't get it out of your head.
Yeah,
but you're passionate about it, right? So do what you're good at and keep on going with it. One of the other things too is like cleaning out the gutters is, and you were talking about the shingles. In the winter time, I think that it's really important to make sure that those are cleaned out because you can get ice dams and things, right?
Yeah, so I always tell people, because when I clean their gutters, they're saying, when should I do it? Or how many times a year should I do it? And I always say it's at your discretion. It depends on where your home is and the surrounding area of trees. If you have a lot of trees within a close vicinity to your home, you're probably going to need to do it twice a year. And especially during the winter, I always say get them done at the end of fall when all the leaves are dropped down, so that way I'm not coming in the middle of fall, cleaning them, and then a month later they're full again. But in the wintertime especially, if you have any clogs and they fill up with water, they're going to fill up, and then eventually it's going to spill onto the roof, and that freeze and refreeze is going to cause it to go under the shingles, and then
that's when you get problems. Completely
damage your shingles, and then your shingles are all messed up for the spring, and then it's rainy like it has been the last week and a half, and you're getting all kinds of water in your home.
Yeah. And it's interesting to me that people, it's, when you think about your gutters, like we wouldn't have them if we didn't need them, right? So like it's such an important feature to keep everything else well maintained, right?
It's a feature that no one thinks about really. Till the problems happen. So for the majority of things I see is clogged gutters that haven't been cleaned in years.
Some have trees coming out of them.
Yeah, I've had blackberry bushes growing in people. I've literally eaten blackberries out of people. I swear to God.
Really?
But it's
well, because the birds, right?
Yeah, so the birds will drop seeds and wind and whatnot. I mean, I've found of half a chicken breast in the gutter.
Really?
You find the weirdest things up there. I mean, if you talk to some of the kids that I work with, they find shoes, action figures, baby. It's a lot of the stuff is from kids.
Yeah.
Just throwing stuff up in the gutters in the summer. But
drone pieces.
You find all kinds of stuff up there, and a lot of the time it's someone dropping something out of the window, rolling in the gutter. Or the kids throwing stuff. But the birds too are like the birds' nests are pretty brutal, but that's the one thing is like if I go up there and there's a bird's nest with like eggs in it, I will leave the bird's nest and I'll be like, call me in a month, I'll come back and I'll take it out in a month when the babies are gone. I just feel bad. I feel bad.
Yeah, you can't kick them out. Well, it's funny because I had called you, I think it was before the winter that I had called you from my house, and when we did sort of an addition off the side, when I go into where my home office is up on the second floor, I multitask at everything. I'm not going to say I hate brushing my teeth. I enjoy brushing my teeth, but I hate standing in front of the mirror brushing my teeth. It's
No, I get
ridiculous.
that.
I'm 57 years old. I know how to do this
Just
now.
staring at yourself.
Yeah, so I walk around when I'm doing that, and I remember I walked into my office, and because we have a lot of pine trees, and I saw all the pine needles in there. But there are a lot of times that there's a bird. I can hear the bird like fluttering in there. And things.
Yeah,
know.
they'll take baths. If you have standing water in
Really?
your gutters, they'll take little baths, and they'll like
That's
flap.
fun.
In there.
You
It's
ever take a
funny.
video? You should do some videos of that stuff.
So I see a lot of like what are they called? I don't know if, like ospreys or hawks or something.
Oh, yeah, big bird?
All the time. They'll like drop that. We'll find like mouse bones and stuff in there because they'll like just pin them in the roof and eat them in people's roofs. Like, I don't know.
Oh,
But
my goodness.
A few weeks ago, I was in Situate and a bald eagle flew over. It was
Really?
really cool.
That's
Yeah, it was
awesome. Well, you have the
on
best view when you're up
Yeah,
there.
you do get some cool views, actually. It's some people's houses have some really cool views from
Yeah.
their roofs, so it's awesome,
That's
especially when you're
awesome.
down by the water.
Yeah,
It's cool.
well, that's awesome. So with the, and I love to hear that you just have like that moral standard of not killing baby birds because no one wants to do that.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. And then like I found a couple bats. I found bats up there sometimes because people have gutter guards and they like the dark, shady stuff. And
I was going to ask you about that. Is that in our agenda? I wonder somewhere.
I feel like I might have written it down, but I'm not positive.
Yeah.
We can get to that.
Yeah.
That's
So let's just talk about it right now, I guess. So
absolutely.
we're talking about the clogged gutters and everything. So everything that gets in there is we're talking about it now. Birds can bring things are just flying, whatever, all over the place, the leaves and all that. So I see these commercials where they have like those gutter leaf. It's almost like it looks like a screen to me over the gutters. I've heard pros and cons about that, but I'd rather ask the expert, and that's you today.
Yeah, so there are pros and cons to them. Again, like I said earlier with how many times a year you clean your house, it's depending on the vicinity of trees, the kind of trees you have. There's so many different styles of gutter guards. There's gutter helmets, gutter guards, they all kinds of different names, but they all pretty much do the same thing. And again, it depends on the trees, the oak trees, the pine trees, and those kind of things. They'll always get in the little tiny holes, and the little stems will get caught in there, and they'll basically cover the gutter, and then no water's getting in it.
Yeah, so that's how I felt about it, because when I thought about it, and so, people with ADD, by the way, which is what I have, I don't know if you knew that. I got diagnosed after. When Casey got diagnosed in college, and I was like, you're not taking medicine. You just, you want to be, yeah, you just want to take, the medicine for that. I know that college thing, and thinking I was all like, cool on knowing about Adderall. And then I was like, I'm going to take one of those, and I want to see what they're like. Because I'd take one for my daughter. I'd take a bullet for her, never mind an Adderall. Absolutely. I took one. I was like, wow, did I get a lot done today?
Yeah, they're
ADD
else.
too.
They're crazy.
Yeah.
I do have ADD as well, but I don't take the medicine anymore because
me
I
either.
can't eat when I take the medicine.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I would rather be able to eat food.
Yeah. And for me, I eat too much.
Yeah.
And this is how my show is. I love that you're just like following along with me. I ate too much when I was on it because for me, it was like, it's
different for everyone.
It's lunchtime.
I wish I had that problem.
No, but to me, it was like, it's lunchtime, so it's time to eat. Like before, I would just go all day, and I was like, all I do is eat. It's breakfast, time for lunch, time for dinner. So I was eating.
I could barely even drink water. I was like a zombie. I just.
Yeah, so good. We're glad that you're not doing that, especially being on the roof.
Moving.
Yeah. And that's good, though. I mean, that's what an entrepreneurial mind, like people call it ADD. I always make this joke, and I don't call it ADD. I call it entrepreneurship, right? Because we're always thinking, and that's what I was saying, is when I see these commercials, I always have to think one step further. And I think, all right, so if you have this screen on top, but you have one hurricane comes through, now everything's sitting on top of it. So if you don't get another good windstorm, or if it's raining, it's going to stick. So it's
right. And not only that, the pine needles too. Like obviously the sap, they stick. They'll go through the little screen.
Yeah.
And then obviously water and shade don't mix. Yeah. Especially like. So you have your gutter, again, like the birds, a couple of roof granules fall in there, a little couple of seeds. You're going to grow moss in those gutters. 90% of the time when I take gutter guards off to clean the gutters, they're completely full with like a bed of moss. Yeah. So it's easy to clean because it's just moss, but you don't want the moss growth. I mean, everyone's like, the water will pass through it, but It does. If it hits over the downspout, you're not getting any water through that downspout, and it's going right over. And they act like ramps too, almost, depending on the style.
Yeah.
Because they'll have ones that kind of come down and then fold in and look at a little tiny slit.
Yeah.
And then there's another one with another tiny slit, so it just shoots right over, and it doesn't go in the
so it doesn't do its job.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, too, the risk of, especially in New England, right? So, like, with this rain, with that water, if it, like, flows over and now it's on your driveway. I remember one time it was treacherous. I went to this house and you could see, like, how the water was just coming off, and there was, like, the whole driveway was a sheet of ice.
Yep.
Because the water had nowhere to go. Then it froze, and it's, like, all black ice going down there. So
yeah, so if you have issues with that stuff, we can either reroute the downspout, or you can do dry wells, which is a small trench.
do you do those?
Yeah, it depends on, like, the digging we have to do, but it's not a lot of digging. It's really just a small trench, about 10, 15 feet out into I usually do it right out into the yard. Small hole, about 4 feet deep. We drop a drum in, surround it with rock, cover it with rock.
I need one of those.
Yeah, they're awesome. I mean, if you have if you don't have a high water table, I would do it, because otherwise, then it's just gonna fill, because they will fill up eventually, like down the road. But
I'm just trying to get it. I know that Melissa follows along. I'm not ignoring you, but
no, you're all right. Do your thing.
So Dee, actually, she's one of our listeners all the time on Facebook, and she says, "Hi, congratulations, Mighty Mike."
Thank you, Dee. Thank you.
And Dee will be putting her house on the market sometime, and maybe she'll have to have her gutters cleaned, because I think that people should do those things anyways, especially if you have stuff growing out of them. So back to the leaf guard thing. Mm-hmm. Would you suggest what if it were your house? Would you say no?
So where I live, no.
Yeah.
Because I live over by the baseball fields, and it's just oak trees, pine trees. So I get hammered with leaves. So I clean my gutters like 3 times a year.
Yeah. Because
of the amount of leaves I get in my yard and how close the trees are to my house.
I saw one of your Instagram things one time, and you were like up on your roof, and I was like, I think maybe with a lawn chair, maybe.
Yeah. So I know in the summertime I'll sit I'll sit on my roof in the summertime sometimes. Like, it's
that's where you're supposed to be, right?
It's like the Workaholics TV show. They hang up on the roof, but so I clean mine like 3 times a year, so I wouldn't even bother putting the gutter guards on my house, because it's a pain taking them off and on. But again, like I said, it's up to your discretion. If you do not have trees within a close vicinity to your house, and you know that, I only get a little bit of stuff in them, you might want to throw them on, just to prevent a couple things from going in there. But then again, you said that one storm. So I always say, if you I'll do what the customer wants, but I always will tell them, this could happen, or this could happen. Mm-hmm. I recommend getting them cleaned twice a year. Yeah. Just checking up on them.
Because especially if you're in an area where you're not getting a lot, then why would you bother putting them on?
But if I show up to your house and I go to clean your gutters and there's not a ton of stuff, and I'm like, hey, and he's like, hey, what about the gutter guard? I'll be like, you might be able to get away with them, but if you don't need them. If there's no trees close to your house, you really don't need them.
Yeah, so that's what I love. You're not upselling people, right?
No, there's no point, because they're technically there to protect your house from getting leaves and stuff in your gutters. Yeah. But if you have trees close to your house and you have them on your house, they're going to get in there, no matter what style you have. Yeah. You're going to get roof granules in there. Moss is going to grow. Leaves are going to work their way in there. A squirrel is going to chew a hole in it. And then birds
just another thing to maintain.
Right? Exactly. And then a lot of birds will find that, I have protection over my head now, and there's nothing else getting in here that can get at me.
Well, the bats.
I'll make a nest. And then the bats make nests, the birds will make nests, and then birds' nests are obviously dense. Yeah. Branches and grass and stuff. No water's passing through that. Yep. And then you get overflow, and then you get mulch splashback on your house, or you get water dripping onto your bay window, and the bay window's not sealed, and then that starts rotting out.
See, it's a snowball.
And it's not something you'd think is super important, but like I said, you maintain your car and you maintain your body and stuff like that, and take hygiene. Yeah. Why would you not take care of your house? I mean, you drive around and you see some houses and you're like, oh my God, the thing's falling down.
Oh, the tree's coming out of some gutters.
You're like, what happened to it? And then it's like, all you got to do is just a little bit of maintenance, just here and there. Just keep up with it and you're good to go. And that's why I think the gutters are important, because if they do get too dirty and then it rains, you're going to have mud and crap getting thrown all over your siding. Yeah. And then that's going to lead to stuff growing on your side, and you're getting algae and dust and dirt, and then you're gonna have to power wash. It's just it's snow. Like I said, it snowballs, but you just gotta pay attention, and you won't have those issues.
Yeah. So with the gutters, I had a thought about that when I was thinking about my own house. I do actually want to talk to you about those well things, because the gutters on the right side of my house, that one there sort of just goes to nowhere. We put a rock there. So, so just keep me on your list for that one. But what was I going to say? One of the things that I really liked about you, too, is like, you're saying right now, like, you're not going to upcharge someone for something, but as you're doing the cleaning, that was my first question, too, is how much you charge. Is it like per foot or something like that?
Yeah, so it depends on the area, and I mean a lot of this, like, one of the things that kind of separates me from the other gutter companies too is they have fixed rates, kind of like no matter where they go. So I try and stay within $1.25 to $1.50 a linear foot, with like a $1.50 minimum or a $1.25 minimum, depending on how bad the gutters. So if I show up to your house and you got bushes and stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be more.
I'm going to do the $1.50 a linear foot.
Yeah.
But if it's, I show up and I can't see anything growing out of them, and I can kind of see in them, and I've been there before, I know they're not too bad, I'll, drop down to $1.20. So if I come in July and I do your house in July, and then you call me back 6 months from now, and I did the $1.50 in July, it'll be the $1.25 down. So because I know that they're not going to be as bad, and I've done my tune up and so on and so on. So I know that they're not
in good condition.
Do as much.
Well, and that's the thing is, I mean, that's just overall maintenance. We do it with our heating systems. We do it with all of our stuff, right? I mean, I've done entire shows on the importance of walking around your house and looking up and looking down. And you probably never heard the story, but some of my listeners have. And I remember one time my painter was there, Kevin Senna, and we were doing outside paint, and I was leaving, and I just wanted to say bye to him. So I went on the other side of my house, but my house, in between my house and the neighbors, there's no reason for me to ever be over there, right? So I just went around the corner, and I noticed this huge crack going down my chimney. But I never knew it because I don't walk around my house. So that's something that we try to do and get in the habit of, is a couple times minimally a year is walk around and look at the gutters. I mean, to look at just everything on the exterior. Right. But those are hints for people to know. If you see the splash of the mulch on to the house, then you know you have probably a gutter problem.
Yeah, that indicates an overflow or a clog, and that is allowing the gutter to fill up and then overflow at the low point. And that's another thing too, like you said with your chimney, that is something I offer in my service as well. It's not just, so when you call me for a gutter cleaning, it's a gutter cleaning and a tune-up and a minor inspection I kind of do. So I'll take a lap around your house. I'll be looking up, so I'll say, if you got some rotted rake trim, you got some rotted corner boards, you got some woodpeckers hammering some of these wooden shingles on the side of your house, you got a crack in your chimney and you're missing your chimney cap and crown, couple holes in the shingles, and you're missing a shingle on your ridge vent, something like that.
Yeah.
So I always note, and I'll note them in my invoice as well. It's like X, 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 and X is missing, damaged, broken, rotted, whatever. So that way they know, oh, he didn't just clean my gutters. He came here, he cleaned my gutters, tuned it up, and he kind of inspected my house and let me know where I have other problems.
That's awesome. So do you repair any of those other things, or you just say, hey, while I was here and I noticed, I mean, I'm the one up on the ladder, I just thought I'd let you know. Yeah,
so that's kind of technically what it is. So it's I do handle some of those things, but it's more for, I'm there. Yeah. Why would I not let you know? Yeah. And if I can do it, I'll say, hey, this isn't the scope of things I can do. If you'd like to, have me do it, I can take care of that. Just let me know. We can schedule it. Yeah. Or I can do it, right now, whatever it may be. But for the most part, it's just for the homeowner to know, because they're not, if I go to a home and it's a 3-story triple deck, they're not going to go up on their roof ever. Yeah. So they're not going to know about missing shingles or damaged roof boots or vents that are leaking or anything like that.
Yeah,
like
that's
chimneys.
good.
So I always note that just for one peace of mind for the customer, and then two, it's like I do these things. I'll give them the option to have me do it, or just to have them know about it so that they are not.
Do you have like anything, like do you call it anything? I just wrote like a 10-point inspection just for your...
I mean, I know the 10-point inspection is what they do when they do like the roof inspection, when like the what are they called? Like the inspectors come behind a home. But yeah, I guess you could call it that, but I just kind of call it a minor inspection because I'm not like going super into detail with like, oh, this little hole in the shingle is causing this problem. Yeah. But you should, if I tell you, hey, you have a hole in your roof, and you go, oh shoot.
Yeah, good thank you. Hold on.
Then you know that there's that's where my water's coming from. There's a giant hole in my roof. Yeah. So,
and too, like seeing the woodpeckers and things like that. I think that's so important.
I always note it just because people will miss stuff. And like you said, you don't walk on that side of your house. While I'm there, I'm circling the house multiple times. Making sure, and it's just one of those things, because if it was my house, I'd want to know.
Well, and this is the thing, Michael. I mean, here as an entrepreneur, like I'm just thinking about the marketing aspects that you could do with that, because it's, the overall experience, it's gutters and more, and you are doing more because, I'm thinking about like first time home buyers that have no idea, or I'm thinking about like my senior clients who, maybe the spouse has deceased or something like that, and they just don't know.
Right.
And I have goosebumps going down my right leg right now, which means like I'm so in love with you right now, Mike Parks, because that's the type of person, like that, those qualities that you have in you. And now I'm going to get into my mentoring and leadership here, is those qualities are things that are going to, you in your business go very, very far. Because you're looking out and you're doing things. You're not just doing the gutters. And I don't mean just, but like everything else you're doing is with care, and that's your added val that you're giving to clients, because I would appreciate that. And honestly, in my industry, I have seen so much over, the last 22 years. I've sold, over 1,000 homes, right? And one thing that just came to mind when you were telling me this was I had a situation with someone. It was an estate sale, and the sump pump just kept on clicking on. And like the family hadn't been back and forth to the house. But I bet if you were there doing gutter stuff, you would have probably heard it too. And you probably would have just said, hey, did you know that this keeps on?
Yeah, I mean, like there's been times where like it's like it's again, I'm not just there to do the work and get out of there. Like it's and that's another
clients
thing
for life.
Right. That's another thing that separates me from other gutter companies and landscapers, because some landscapers will do gutter cleanings. It's a lot of the companies, they'll show up, pull in your driveway, and they're not going to knock on your door, say, hey, I'm here, like Michael, nice to meet you. Like I always we'll make a point to try and knock on the door, and like if I haven't spoken to them on the phone, and if I know they're gonna be home, I'll make a point to introduce. So, but they'll show up, they'll get on your roof, just leaf blow them out, and then blow them out, and then me, I'll get up there, the ladder, a bucket, take everything up by hand, so that way I'm physically touching your gutters, I'm looking at them at eye level, I'm not blowing wind through them. And then I'm able to tune them up as I go with cleaning. So if you're missing braces, you're missing screws, the drip edge isn't pulled up, I'll pull the drip edge up, I'll add screws, I'll check the pitch with a level as I'm going through. The only time I'll ever use a leaf blower when I'm doing the gutters is after I clean them, and there's like little bit of roof grit and dirt that I can't get out, or if there's some standing water in there, if your gutter's not pitched correctly. I'll just blow it out very slow, so that way I'm not making a huge mess. But that's my point, is I want to show up to your house and leave your house looking better than when I got there.
I'm going to tell you, Mark McNamara Plumbing, obviously, he says the most important tool in his van is the broom.
Yeah, that's my number one thing I always make sure I have, because I obviously, like, clean gutters are dirty. You got leaves, dirt, all kinds of crap in there, mud, water. So like, I can't control that. I pull a handful out, put it in the bucket. There might be some drips on your deck. I'm gonna try and wipe that up and brush the deck off, and sweep off the walkway and the front steps and stuff like that, because those are the little things. Like if I come to your house and there's just a bunch of leaves and crap on your front steps when you walk in your front door, you're like,
wow.
What the heck is this guy? I even left a mess. So I always try and clean up. And I always try and do my best while I'm there. And if I do miss something, and I always tell people too, like before I leave, when I give them the invoice, I always say, if there's any issues with the gutters or anything I did today, please call me back. I'll come back and address it and make sure take care of it. Because sometimes I might miss something, like might miss a pile on the deck, and I'll come back. I'll just sweep it off for you really quick. Or if I missed an elbow replacement or something like that. But I always try and be very attentive and like focused to not miss those things, so I don't get those callbacks.
Yeah, and getting callbacks, it costs you more time, energy, and money. So you're better off to not just rush off to the next one, right? So. So I can't even believe we only have 10 minutes left here. So when you're doing the gutters, I know one of the things that you did for me recently, and I don't know if it's something that you always do, if it was just something that I said, hey, can you do this for me? Was, taking down our holiday lights for us. Yeah.
So other services I offer, it kind of stays within, ladders and roofs. So I do gutter cleaning, gutter installs, power washings, chimney cap and crowns. I do fascia board replacements. And then obviously this is kind of like a spring, fall type thing. So I'll do spring cleanups as well. Cleaning up mulch beds, doing like leaf cleanups, like leaf blowing out people's yards, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then if you want to pick my mind about something, if you say, hey, like, can you do this and that, there's other stuff I have capabilities of. I'm just not the best at. So I mean, it depends.
And you're learning.
Exactly. And that's something like I work with other companies too, just so I can learn. I work with my friend's dad who does construction, and he's been in the business for 40 years. So I learn a lot from him. I work with my buddy's pool company, T&D Pool Company out of Halifax. They're great. Yeah. So I mean, I'm obviously not going to be building pools by myself, but it's good to have the knowledge to do those kind of things. So that way, I down the road. But majority of my stuff is from the roof line up. So like if you ever need a roof boot replacement, a vent replacement,
what's a roof boot?
It's the like the little white tube that comes out your roof, and there's a little like. So they'll the rubber gasket with an aluminum plate on it, so it stops water from going.
Oh, so I'm thinking of a couple things I need. I do really need you to come to my house because that we have like the fire. It's like a chimney thing, like a vent. Yeah. So pieces of that came off, so that like rotted over, and it's been
so
rotting.
Stuff like that. Like you can give me a call and be like, oh, hey, this popped off. Like I can just reattach it for you. So like some handyman stuff, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
But
which is really important. Like I said, you came here. I just said, hey, is there any chance that you could, just get these lights down for us, the holiday lights? Yes. Just because, Mark had been busy and, I was just like, hey, can you do this? It's just easier. And you did a great job. Like I said, you got the buckets, you put them in different, labeled them all for me. Mm-hmm. But one of the things I was so impressed with is when you said, hey, Sharon, while I was up there, I noticed a couple things with your gutters. So, fixing those things. How would I know? I wouldn't have any idea.
So I do the lights, Christmas lights installation and install, takedown, stuff like that. But that's the one thing too with the gutters. I always tell people is when I say when I leave, look up at your gutters, check the corners because you have a miter there that connects them. Those are sealed up and then screwed. So those seals can rot and they drip and they leak. So that's one thing you can look for to know that your corners are dripping. If you walk around the corner of your house and you just see little divots, that's because of your corners dripping.
Oh, that's what I have at my house, I think.
Yeah, and then as I always say, check the end caps, check your downspouts, the S-turns of the downspouts, because if those aren't connected properly, those can leak and those can disconnect easily. Mm-hmm. And that's something, like I said, with my cleaning service that I offer is a full tune-up with the cleaning service that's included in the $125, $150 minimum or $1.20, whatever it may be. That is included at no extra charge. So it's any missing elbows, missing straps, damaged pipe, you have any damaged corner miters or end caps up to 5, I will seal for free. Any braces, screws, stuff like that, I'll check.
Tell me about the pitch. Yeah, tell me more about the pitch.
The pitch, so if I'll go up there, I'll clean them out. If there's standing water in there, obviously I know that pitch is level or pitched not to the downspout. You want to have it pitched to the downspout, obviously. Yeah. So if I go up there and it's not pitched properly, normally, I don't offer repitching services. Sometimes I will, depending on like how old the gutter is. Yeah. Because I don't want to own it because it's going to continue to fail and fail and fail. Oh yeah. So if somebody
is pitched wrong, would you just suggest replacing it so it's done the right way?
Yes, because yes and no. It depends on how old it is. If it's super old, then I know that it's going to probably not
Yeah.
I would rather be 100% when I put that gutter back up, so that way you're not going, dude, what happened? It's not working.
Yeah.
So that way, I would recommend replacing it because, one, it's going to look better, it's going to function better, but I can repitch them. It's just I have to physically look at it first and be like, all right, we can do this. And
what is the material? Are there different materials? Like if you were going to revinyl a house, right? You could say different levels, but like, are they made? They're not tinny.
Majority of them are aluminum.
Okay.
There are copper gutters and steel gutters and stuff like that. For the most part, it's like the homes and residential and like commercial buildings, like the buildings in Derby Street and stuff like that. It's all aluminum, and there's different colors to it.
Okay.
And different textures. Like sometimes there's rough textures on the outside.
Yeah.
And then there's real copper.
Those would be fun.
They look great.
They look great, but like I'd be worried about people coming when you're on vacation.
Just taking them off your house. I mean, they are expensive, but they do look great when they patina. I think they look cool, depending on the style of your home.
Yeah.
But the white gutters and the black gutters seem to be just the standard. Normal.
I thought that they were vinyl now, but no, huh?
They have vinyl ones, like plastic vinyl. I don't recommend because they fold and they break. So
how would I know, right? I wouldn't know that.
I always say just go with the 16 gauge aluminum. It's nice and sturdy. It doesn't. There's no give to it. It doesn't dent. You don't step it, so it's solid. The plastic it's brittle. It breaks. You bump into it. Your landscaper hits it with a weed whacker. It shatters.
I can imagine that it would dry out too, right? Yeah.
And they're smaller. They're like. I want to say they're about 2 by 3 inches, which is the normal standard for a downspout, but they don't fit with regular. So a lot of people will go to Lowe's, they'll buy a plastic downspout, then they'll get aluminum elbows, and so you get the homeowner special.
Well, every time
that's what we call it in the label, whether it's pools or lands, whatever. It's called the homeowner special. It's just
plumbing.
Get her done, but. I just recommend just go with the aluminum and keep them maintained and make sure they're nice and tight in that. Because if they're not, you're going to be sleeping at night and you're down, so it's when he's shaking in the wind. And I'm like, what the hell is that?
Well, there's one thing with our AC I want you to look at, because I don't know, maybe it's good because I can hear it, but like the condensation goes into the gutter. It must, because I can hear.
Drip? Yeah, so that's a lot of things too. That can be the reason people have water issues, is because of that AC drip from their PB. I've seen that a lot, where the gutter's pitch level, and there's always water in their gutter because of that AC vent. And then what they'll do is they'll run that through the fascia board, and then cut a notch out of the back of the gutter, which you're not supposed to do, because then you only have a 2-inch exposure and the water can go right out behind it if it fills up. So that actually rots out a lot of fascia boards. So I'll go up there and check it out. But I guarantee you, if that's not sealed in the back, then it's probably rotting on your fascia board.
Okay, great. Well, I'm going to have you please put me on your list.
Absolutely.
All right. So there's quite a few things that I need you to look at. One is the chimney thing at the top, whatever that is called, and then that whole right-hand corner of the house. I know that there are some issues going on over there, so I'm going to have you back to my house to do that. But one thing I forgot to say is I know that you're fully licensed and insured.
Correct.
All of that, right? So can you tell people, because I can't believe it, our time is actually running up here, and I have to talk about some open houses. How can everybody get in touch with you?
So I have obviously all social medias. It's 2025, so everyone's on the social medias now. So I have my Instagram, which is just Mighty Mike's Gutters, all lowercase. Facebook is Mighty Mike's Gutters and more, and then just my website, which is mightymikesgutters.com. And we also offer a newsletter through my website.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes if you sign up through the newsletter, we'll offer special discounts and kind of let you know what's going on. And
so I'm going to ask you. I'm going to put you. I'm going to put you on the spot right now. If any of our listeners call you, can you give them a little bit of a discount?
Yeah,
say $5 off, because I know
absolutely.
Sharon.
Absolutely.
All right. So you heard it here. What about a phone number?
Phone number is 781-588-8300.
Say that one more time.
781-588-8300. And you can text or call that number.
Perfect.
And we can do a quote over the phone, or I can come and
awesome.
to your house and talk to you in person.
And if you want to listen to the show again, you always can go on to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. We'll listen to it again. If you can't find any of Michael's information, of course, you can get in touch with me, 781-826-8000. We have a bunch of open houses this weekend, so I have to go through them quick because I'm at my end here. So it looks like the Grady team will be at 49 Waterford Drive in Hanover today from 11 to 1. Sue Bollinger will be at 1 115 Brookbend Road in Hanover from 1 to 3. And Sam and our team, we have a new listing, 77 Wentworth Ave in Brockton, 11 to 1. And then, of course, me and Mary will also be doing, and Faith and Kristen will be at our new construction. So you go onto our website, you'll find all the open houses. So have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yes, have a great day. Bye, Paul.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Thanks.